Where did we start? I mean, at topic.
This question 5.
Oh, we left when we prepared the cost. Okay. So if we left when we had prepared the costs. So the next thing that we need to do, still as a continuation of that, is to get total supply. Total supply. Now, total supply, we will go to where we have those mines. We will go to where we have those mines. And you can see it is 120 plus 150 plus 80 plus 160 plus 140. The total supply there is waiting for the answer. Those are online, give the answer also. Yeah, 550. Barbara, we are just continuing with the question that we had started last time. 550. Okay, then total demand. Demand is 300 plus 200 plus 200 Is that the case? So if that is the case, you can see, Brian, check your totals. You can see that they are not equal. So if they are not equal, you need to create a dummy source. So dummy source will bring what? 50. We need to create a dummy source to bring 50. So that now we have 50 plus this, agreeing with what? 700. Agreeing with 700. Now, because we already have the costs, we have checked that it is equal, or we have made it to be equal. We need now to do the initial allocation. Need to do the initial allocation. I want to delete this one. So we are drawing initial allocation table. Initial allocation table. So, first of all, the course that we had for this is 1, A, B, C. So, what we got from top to bottom. Kwanza ilitoka ikiwa na 3800. 3700. 3700. 5000. 5000. 5300. 5300. 4000. 4000. 4800. 4800. 4800. 4900. 4900. 4900. 4500. 4500. 5400. 5400. 5000. 5000. 700. That's 700. And then 4200. 4200. 5500. 55. And 4200. And 4200. Okay. So quickly design that. So we have the source, and we have destination, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is a dummy. This is demand here. That's demand. Then this is supply. This is 300, 200. This is 120, 150, 80, 160, 140, 150. So those who are online, once you finish, you say finish. Lakini kama miwani iko sawa. Nikiwa na miwani iko sawa. Ndio kama miwani. Ndio kile kinasumbua. Kitai kama nzuri na kinasumbua. Machozi yanatoka kutoka. Finish that. Okay. So I want us to use the northwest corner cell method. The northwest corner cell method, that's what I want us to use. And I told you in the northwest corner, you start from here. When you come here, the available supply is 120, and the required is 300. The smaller is, so we record 120. So put 120 there. And the implication of that is that these cells now are full, rather they are blocked. They cannot receive anything. The next northwest corner cell is this one. So when you get here, the available supply is 150. The unsatisfied demand is 180. So if it's 180, the smaller is 150. So we put 150 here, and the implications are that these ones are blocked. The next northwest is this one. When you come here, the available is 80. The unsatisfied is now? It is that. It's that. So the smaller is what? 30. So you put 30 here. And when you put 30, this one is blocked, this one is blocked, and this one is blocked. So the next smallest, rather not the next smallest, the next northwest corner is this one. So when you get here, the available there is 50. The unsatisfied is 200. So the smaller is 50. The smaller is 50. 30 is the difference this year. That 30 is the difference between 300, 150, and 120. You do equipment back 30. So now here is 15. We have allocated, and the implication is that this one is blocked. We come here. When we get here, the available is 160. The required is 150. So the smaller is 150. And when you put 150 there, this is blocked, this is blocked. The next one is this one. When you get here, the available is what? 10. The unsatisfied is, so the maximum we can put there is what? 10. And then at that point, it becomes obvious that this one must receive what? It's in 140. Is that so? Yes. Yes, because the available is 140 and the required is 190. So we give 140, and then this one must get what? 50. Asia, did you get that? So that is how it's supposed to be done. Now, hiyo maneno ingine tulikuwa tunafanya, hiyo utaji, you are saying no. Now, this 30 is coming from here. 300, we already have given 120, we already have given 150. So that is how we are getting 30. Is that okay now? Okay, good. So hiyo maneno ingine ya kusema kama ni generate na nini hiyo utakifanyia. It is the same thing tulikuwa tunafanya last time. Sawa. So quickly draw another table. Quickly draw another table. Quickly draw another table. Quickly draw another table. Because I want us to use the 3 methods on this. Brian, tulia tu. Tulia tu. So that table we will call it LCCM. Those who are online, once you finish, say finished. Okay, finished. Eh? Okay. Those are online. No one is saying they are finished. Yeah, we need finished. Good. Here's Barbara. Okay. We need. Okay. So in LCCM, I said what you do. You pick the cell with the smallest cost. The cell with the smallest costs. And in so doing, you don't consider dummies. Because dummy is something that is not real, is non-existent. So, kwa hizi zote, the smallest, none, 37. And they happen to be two of them. There is this one and this one. If they tie in terms of costs, you separate them in terms of how many units they absorb. So let's confirm how many each will take. You can even start here. When you add here, the available is, the unsatisfied is, so the smaller is, meaning tunaweza weka ngapi hapa? 160. So hiyo unaona. Kuja hapa. When you get here, the available is, the unsatisfied. So the smaller of the two. So the maximum we can put here is what? 120. So here, tumesema we can put 160, and here we can put 120. So you start with the one taking more. So here, you put 160. And when you put 160, you must always assess the implication. The implication is that now this -4 has given out everything. It has given out everything. Then you go to the next smallest, or the same, which now we already know. It is taking what? 120. So you put 120, then you broke here and here. You broke here and here. So we are through with that smallest. When we are through with that smallest, let's now identify the next smallest. And I told you in your identifications, if any cell is already allocated to or has been brought, it is not eligible. So the next smallest is 4,000, and it's just one. So to keep it happen. So when we get here, the available is what? 150. Then the unsatisfied is 80. So the smaller is 80. So we put 80 here. And when you put 80 there, the implication is that B is now fully satisfied. B is fully satisfied. Pick the next smallest. The next smallest is 42, this one. And there is also this one. So if we start here, the available is 140. The unsatisfied is 40. The unsatisfied is 40. So this one can take what? 40. When we get here, the available is 140. The unsatisfied is, so this one can take what? 140. So hii tumesema inaweza chukua 40, and this one is taking what? 140. So we need to allocate now, you see, like here, someone may wonder, why do we need to check who is taking more? While hapa tumeweka 160 na bado tukarudi hapa tukaweka 120, which would still have been the case kama hata tungeanza hapa the same thing here. But the reason as to why that is done is, you see now like these two here, when you put this 40 here, there is a possibility this one may end up being blocked. You see now we are going to block this one. So this one may end up being blocked. The units that remain, see hapa umetoa 40, umebaki 100. So hiyo 100, you end up transporting at what? 55. Instead of transporting at what? Yes. So you end up incurring more cost. So that's why you must follow that order. So we broke this one. So when we broke that one, the next smallest is what? 45. There is this one. So when we get that one, the available supply is 80. The unsatisfied demand is 40. So the maximum we can put there is what? 40. When we do that, this is blocked, and this is also blocked. At that point, the allocation has become obvious. Obvious as in, hapa tumebakisha tu hii, na hii, na hii. They are just in one row. I mean, one column. So it is clear, this one now must absorb the balance that is remaining here, which is what? 70. And this one must take the balance that is remaining there, which is 40. And this one must take what is there. Yeah. Then quickly draw another table. Quickly draw another table so that we use the next method. So finished, eh? Okay. So we begin. We said with the VAM, what you do, you identify the smallest costs everywhere. Everywhere meaning every row and every column. So tuanze na A. Ukibia na hizi, the smallest of all ni 38, followed by 42.
No, 7. There's 7.
This column.
Oh, okay.
This column alone, the smallest is 38, followed by that 42. So there is a difference of what? 400. That's what we call the penalty. So now big apple. When you go to B, the smallest is 37, followed by 4,000. So a difference of 300. A difference of 300. When we go to C, the smallest is 37, followed by 4,200. So a difference of what? 500. We get to the other one. The smallest, now we are in row 1. So the smallest is 37, followed by 38. So a penalty of 100. This one, 4,048, a penalty of 800. 49 and 45, a penalty of 400. 37 and 5,000, a penalty of 1,300. This one, 42 and 55, a penalty of what? A penalty of 1,300. Penalty of 1,300. So with a penalty of 1,300, you select the highest in that set. So the highest of all is what? 1,300. But they are 2 of them. I told you this penalty is said to come from the cell with the smallest cost, either in the row or the column where you have identified that. So this one is coming from this cell. So when you get here, this one is taking the unsatisfied, rather the available supply is 160. The unsatisfied demand is 200. So the smaller of the two is 160. So we can put how many here? 160. Higher. Let's consider this one. Now this one is coming from the smallest cell there. And they happen to be 2 of them. This one and this one. So we start with this one. When we get here, this one can take what? 140. That is the available supply. And the unsatisfied demand is what? 200. So the maximum we can put here is 140. The same thing applies here. Yeah. So this one can take 140. This one can take 140. And this one can take 160. So we go for the one taking higher or the highest. So we come here. So that means we select this one. You select that one that way. And where you select it, we come and allocate 160. And when you allocate 160, the implication is that this one is blocked and this one is blocked. And because that is blocked, you close this one. You close that one. That is number 4 has given out. The next one now follows suit. So through the other. The smallest is 38, still followed by 42. So the penalty now is what? 400. The penalty is 400. In B, the smallest is 37, followed by 4,000. So we have what? 300. Then in C, the smallest is now 42, followed by 45. So there is a difference of what? 300. When we go to 1, we have 37 and 38, so a difference of 100. When we go to 2, we have 4,048, that is 800. The next one is 49 and 45, that is a difference of 400. The next one, so number 5 is 42 and 55. That's a difference of what? 1,300. A difference of 1,300. So when we do that, the highest kwa hiyo mzunguko yote is what? Is 1,300. That's the highest. So when we have that highest, 1,300, it is coming from either this one or this one. That's all. So this one, because of this 160 and this one, it can only take what? 40. See there? But this one can take a whole 140. So we come here and assign 140. Come and assign 140. And when you assign 140, this is brought and this is also brought. Meaning my 5 imetoa kila kitu, so you close it. So tunaanza mzunguko tena ya kutafuta the penalties. So now I still have my 38 smallest, but now followed by 49. So that's a penalty of what? 1,100. That's a penalty of 1,100. Then I have 37 followed by 4,000. That is a penalty of 300. That's a penalty of 300. And then here I have 48 and 45, so 300 again. Then 1, I still have 100. This one, it is still 800. And then this one is 400. Yeah. So kwa hiyo mzunguko yote, the highest is who? 1,100. So we pick this one. Now that 1,100 is coming from which set? 38. So when we add here, the available is 120. The unsatisfied is 160. So the smaller goes to is 120. So we can put 120 here. We can put 120. When we put 120, the implications are this one is brought, this one is brought, and you strike this one out. You strike that one out. Then we begin the next mzunguko. So tukikuja hapa, now we have 4,900 and 5,300. That's a difference of what? 400. 49 and 4,900. 48 and 45. That's a difference of 300. One, I'm already finished. Number two, I still have a penalty of what? 800. And number three, I still have a penalty of 400. I still have a penalty of 400. Kwa hiyo mzunguko yote, the highest is what? 900. The highest is 900. So 900 is coming from these 4,000. So when I run here, the available supply is 150, and the unsatisfied demand is 200. So the smaller of those two is, so that gives us a maximum of 150 here. And when I do that, this one is blocked, this one is blocked, and then I strike here out. At that point, my allocation has become obvious because only one row is eligible. This one. This one. And it has 3 of them. So we will start with this one because it's the smallest. Start with this one because it's smallest. So when we get here, this one now can take, the available here is what? Is 80. And the unsatisfied here is what? 40. So we put 40 here. We put 40. Then tumebakisha 40. Now that 40, you can either bring it here or here because it's in terms of what? Costs. Is that so? If I come here, you see now we have preferred this one because it's 45, smaller. And this one's 49, 49. Ndio kwanza tukaacha hizi tukakimbia kwa mwili. Sawa. Sasa tukikuja hapa, hawa wametoshana. So you can either put here or here, depending on what is required. So nikifika hapa, I already have brought 150 and I need how many? 200. So bado hapa kuna shortage ya 450. So hii inaweza chukua 40. When I come here, this one from 300, I have given 140 and 120. So I still have unsatisfied demand of 40. So that 40 can come here or here. So you choose. So let's put it here. Let's put it there. So when you put it there, the implications are, this one is brought. That is brought there. And when you broke there, then even this one is also brought. Because you're in the tosha. And even this one, we should have brought this one there. So that hii 50 imeingia hapa. So are we okay? Yeah. So that is how you can handle any question on transport. The key thing is to know the sources, destinations, supply, demand. You check whether they are equal, then identify the costs. If they are not given as single figures, you combine them. Then unasonga. Now, in an exam, if the examiner is quiet on which method to use, you should always use VAR. You should always use VAR. And it is in very few cases they will tell you to use Northwest. Actually, at Asjari on our test Northwest at KASNEB. Even least costs, it's very difficult to appeal. So you must perfect on VAR. The next thing that I need to mention is this transport is initially designed to handle minimization. But you can still use it to do maximization. And in dealing with maximization, I think I told you there are 3 ways. One, you can multiply all these values by -1. If you multiply this cost by -1, they all become negative. And then we kama kawaida. Number 2 is you can apply the rules in a reversed way. Unaona tulikuwa tunaangalia the smallest kama hapa kwa LCM. So badala ya kuchukua the smallest, we pick the highest. Tukikuta kwa hizi mizunguko, we were picking the highest. So you take the smallest. That's what we call application in a reversed way. The third way is you create an opportunity loss system. Opportunity loss system is where you identify the highest of all these costs. Then you subtract all the others. And that is the best way to use. That's the best way to use. In the next model, I will solve one for maximization. So you see how the opportunity costs are created. But in kuangalia kama hapa, the highest is all is in 55. So you subtract all the others from 55. So sasa hapa hii itabaki ikiwa what? 0, hii itakuwa 13, hii itakuwa what? 23, and so on. Yeah. So if that is agreed, on your own, you shall handle the question that follows there, and then in the past papers, so I'm saying the question that follows there is question number what? 6. Question number 6. That question is maximization. Is on maximization. So you handle that. Then in the past papers, let me see your past papers. Past papers. Past papers. In the past papers, kuna swali ya transport. I need to give you May 2016, question 4B. May 2016, question 4B. You can attempt that one. You can attempt that one. Now, the next thing that I need to discuss is called assignment model. Assignment. I gave you the notes for the state. Assignment model. Simple pair notes. Transport I dictated or I give you the handout. I gave you the handout. That handout should contain assignment. Can you check? If I gave you a handout, most likely it contains. I don't think I separated. Good, they are there. So, Osman, I mean, that suggests you have not copied.
Yes,
I don't know if you're going down that. Now, assignment is just very similar to transport. And if you have checked your notes, you'll see the similarities that you have given and the differences. Much of them will come out as we have questions. If there is anything that is very simple in linear programming, the assignment. Actually, very QA come up with the assignment. So question 7. Look at question 7. Question 7. Now, hiyo maneno yote iko hapo tusoma baadaye. What I just want to capture is the requirement. The required says the assignment to be made in order to maximize total cost of the to minimize the total cost of the engineers. So when you are dealing with assignment questions, the steps are almost similar to the ones of transport. So number 1 is to identify the objective. So the objective there from the requirement, is it to maximize or to minimize? Minimize costs. It's to minimize costs. Most of the questions you come across for assignment, they are about minimization. Although once in a while, I'm sure maximization. Once you have that, your table that is given there, you just copy the way it is. You just copy that table the way it is, and we call it first table. Copy that table the way it is. Those are the costs. You call it first table. So those who are online, once you finish copying, say yes. It is advisable you just do it there and we can show the lines because there will be some other lines for that. It may appear congested. But other picture no harm. Oh, the first is 37, not 27. Thank you. So online kimaliza unasema yes. Yes, we need. Wilfred. So, like in transport, these are the sources, and these are the destinations. When you are in transport, tulikuwa tunaangalia whether it is equal by getting the total demand and total supply. But in assignment, equality is in terms of rows and columns, or sources and destinations. So how many rows are these? 4. And how many columns? 4. So if they are equal, it is balanced. But if they were not equal, we would create a dummy. So the moment you have equality, the next thing you do is, in the first table here, you extract the minimum of every row. So you create another column there called minimum. So the minimum in row 1 is what? 21. Row 2, 22. Row 3, 22. Row 4, 39. Now from there, create second table. I want to separate them that way. We are creating now second table. Second table, where I will have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then A, B, C, and D. We design that frame. As you go at the sideways, it's only that myself I've divided the space because I need the 2. So yako unachora hapo chini. Down there, the second table. So to get the second table, you subtract these minimums from their colleagues. You subtract the minimums from these others. So tukianza row A, 37 minus 21. 16. So naweka 16 here. 27 minus 21. 6. 34 minus 21. 21 minus 21. 0. Huyu mwingine 57 minus 22. 35. 22 minus 22. 0. 79 minus 22. 34 minus 22. 22 minus 22. 25 minus 22. 61 minus 22. 45 minus 22. 39 minus 39. 42 minus 39. 54 minus 39.
15.
Huyo mwingine anaitwa 43 minus 39 is what? 4. So that is how the second table is done. Now extract the minimums of the columns. You get the minimums of the columns of the second table. So in the first column, the minimum is what? 0. Second column, the minimum is 0. Third column, and the fourth column, 0. So you extract the minimums of the columns in the second table. After extracting them, design the frame for the third table down there. You design the frame for the third table. Design the frame for the third table. So it is also created in the same way. You subtract the minimums. So in the first table, in the first column, this is 16, 35, 0, and 0. In the next one, it is 6, 0, 3, 3. 13 minus 13 is what? 0. 57 minus 13 is 44. This is 26. This is 2. Then we have 0. We have 12. We have 23. And we have 4. Sasa, the next thing now you do on the data table is to identify which row or which column has the highest number of zeros. Which row or which column has the highest number of zeros? Row A and column 1 both have 2, 2, eh? Yeah, so with 2, 2, unakuja hapa, you draw a line like this to cross over those values. And here, cross over those values. So where else do we have a 0? either column B or rather column 2 or row B. Now you can choose. The objective here is to close over all the zeros. The objective is to close over all the zeros. So unaweza pitia hapa kwa 2 ama kwa B. Either way is acceptable. But for now, because we are together, wacha tupite kwa B. Namna hii. I've said the objective is to cross over all the zeros. Na tumeanzia ku identify where we have the highest number of zeros. So tukapata ni hapa na hapa. Then hii sababu imebaki moja, you can either do B or you do 2. Is that okay, Asia? Let me repeat. I have said when you come to the third table, you identify where we have the highest number of zeros. And we have seen it is in row A, 2, and column 1, 2, 2. So you draw a line to cross over, you draw a line. Where next we have a 0 is this one. You can do either this line or this line, but you just do one. That is what you have done. Is that okay now? Asia is telling me she's still confused. Is that okay now, Asia? Okay, good. So after you have drawn the lines, you count. And in the case of anything, hizo notes nimekupea ziko na those steps. Ukifuata hata saa hii, utaona hiyo maneno yote ninaongea iko hapo. So Asia, make sure you also check the notes. Haya, sasa ukishachora those lines, you count. So how many are they? These lines that we have drawn, there are 3. Now, if they are equal to your rows or your columns, the table is optimal. So are they equal either to our rows or to our columns? No. So if they are not equal, that table is not optimal, and you need to do the 4th table or the next table. So let's design the frame for the 4th table. Let's design the frame for the 4th table. So, in getting to fill the 4th table, there are 4 things that you need to do. There are 4 things that you need to do. 1, unarudi hapa kwa the previous table. Unaangalia the values that have not been crossed over by a line. You pick the smallest. So the smallest ya hizi zenye hazijaguzwa na line ni gani? The smallest of the values that have not been touched by a line. 2. So you can even circle that. That's the first thing. You identify the smallest and crossover. The second thing is that smallest value, you subtract it from the values not crossover. You subtract it from the values not crossover. So let's come here. C2. So 3 minus 2, that gives us what? 1. This gives us 24. And this gives us what? 21. Then this one, you subtract, you get what? 1. Here you get what? 0. And here you get what? 2. That's the second thing. The third thing is the values that are close to ones. The values that are close to ones, you retain them the way they are. You retain them the way they are. So this 0 remains here. This one remains here. Then when we come to column 2, 6 remains here. 0 remains. Column 3, 0 remains. This is 44 and 0, and this is 12. So any value that is close over ones remains. Then you add that value to the values crossed over twice. So this one will be 18, and this will be 37. What's on it? So once the table is a jar, we start drawing the zeros again. Drawing the lines again. So nimesema identify where we have the highest number of zeros. Row D and row A and column 1 and also column 3. So each one of those has 2, 2. So let's start with A here. Alafu tukuje hapa kwa 1. So ukishafanya hivyo, mbili zimeisha. So now we are left with 1, 1. This 1, 0 and this 1, 0. So for this one, we can draw this line easy, but it is good to avoid this kind of line because unaona hii ni 1 na hii ni 1. Unawezekana ukichora hiyo line itakuja imepitia kwa 1. Sasa 1 ifungwe. Haionekani. So if there is an option, unaiondokea. So nataka tuchore ikipita hapa hii. Na hii nayo inapita hapa. So how many lines are those? 4. Are we optimal now? Yes. So if yes, this is now what you do. This is what you do. Unakuja hapa kwa rows. Identify the row that has only 1 zero. Identify the row that has only 1 zero. A iko na 1? No. B. So unakimbia hapo, you mark this one. That one. That's just 1. When you mark a particular zero, it destroys any other value that is, any other zero that is in that row or that column. Because you can only assign where we have zeros. So sasa hapa kuna yo kosa. That's what we are calling implication when you are in transport. Huyu just one, si ndio? When you put there, hii imeharibika. So hii kiharibika, it means now D also has one zero. This one. And when you assign here, hii inaharibu this one. So we are left with this one. You're left with that. So I've said that you identify where we have just 1 0. So this one was 1. So we have assigned there. Here we assigned there. Then hii ukiweka hapa hii inaharibika. So we are left with this one. So you assign here, ukiweka hapa hii inaharibika. So you are left with this one. Yeah, Asia, I hope that is clear. So we have summary now. The summary is done like this. Is that okay, Asia? Yeah. So the summary is we have engineer A, and according to this table, engineer A should go to client 4, A4. B is supposed to go to 2. C is going to 1. And D is going to 3. Then here we'll have total. So this is how you identify the cost. Unaenda kwa ile table ya kwanza, first table. So in the first table, when A goes to 4, how much is there? In the first table, when A goes to 4, how much? 21. 21. B to C1, add D3, 54.
Yes.
So you add these ones. One, 119. 119. So hii kasamba sasa ndio inapelekewa accountant. Anatayarisha hii pesa. So hawa engineers wakikuja, yeye anapewa 21. Tuseme hii ni fair ya kwenda kwa client. So yeye anapewa 21 hivi. Na huyo engineer akiuliza accountant kwa nini anapewa hiyo, accountant anamwambia aenda uulize kodi. Hii ndio ndio. Then ukitoa hii ka column hii inakuwa inatolewa hiyo. Hii dawa inatolewa kwa public. In most companies inaitwa duty roster. Ndio unafika Monday morning unaambiwa wewe unaenda hii station, wewe kimbia Mombasa, wewe kimbia Kisumu, wewe kimbia wapi Lakini the public hawaonyeshi. In a school like this one, hii yetu huwa tunaita time. Ukikuja Monday morning unaangalia Kimani yako wapi, Wafula yako wapi, wengine wako wapi. Lakini hawatuonyeshi hii ya cost. So wewe unajua niko wapi lakini hujui nitalipa pesa ngapi. Lakini accountant, ukienda kwa accountant anajua niko class gani na nikimaliza hiyo class pesa ni ngapi. Yes. Now, I can see time is not on our side. I thought I would be able to do the 3 questions, but I will not do question 8. For the few minutes remaining, I want to do question 9, which is maximization. Question 9, which is maximization, so that at least you see how maximization is done. So we are saying question 9 is maximization. When you are dealing with minimization, hiyo table yenye umepewa kwa swali, hiyo ndio inakuwa first table. When you umeona kwa hiyo question 7 tumedeal nayo, that was our first table. Question 8, when you go solving, that table umepewa hapo, it will be your first table. But in maximization, as I said earlier, when you are in transport, you create an opportunity loss table. So we are going to come here and create what we call, or what I'm calling, opportunity costs or loss table. And this table is the one that will become our first table. Is the table that will become our first table. Is the table that will become our first table. So here table, as you can see, we have 1 here. We have 2. We have 3. We have 4. And we have 5. Then we have A, we have B, we have C, and we have D. So I told you the first thing is to check whether they are balanced, or rather the second thing after doing the objective. So how many columns are these?
4.
Columns.
Sorry,
5. And rows ni ngapi? 4. So you create a dummy. You need to create a dummy row. We need a dummy here. So dummy tunaweza weka D apostrophe 4. So that is a dummy. Sasa hiyo table venye iko hapo kwa swali, utafute the highest value kwa hizo zote. The highest value kwa hizo zote ziko hapo. That's what I said earlier.
94. 96.
96. So the highest of all is 96. Then you subtract everyone else from 96. Tuanze na column 1. 96 minus 92, we have 4. 96 minus 84. 96 minus 84. 12. 96 minus 90. 96 minus 78. Aya, tuende kwa column 2. 96 minus 90. 96 minus 88. 96 minus 90. 96 minus 94. 96 less 94. 96 less 96. 96 minus 93. 96 minus 89. 96 minus 91. 96 minus 82. 96 minus 86. 96 minus 84. 96 minus 83. Okay. These are very simple things to go over. 96 minus 81. 96 minus 93. And 96 minus 88. Jesus kama umeelewa venye nilikuwa ninasema kwa transport. When I was talking of kina 55, nikasema unachukuanga ile kubwa. You subtract all the others. And that's what we have done. Sasa ukisha subtract, it goes back to normal. Safari inaanza kawaida. So sasa imekuwa our first. So the next thing, tulimesema in the first table, you pick the minimums. You pick the minimums of the rows. Oh, dummy, you put zeros. Dummy, you put zeros. Dummy, you put zeros. Dummy, you put zeros. When you put zeros, the minimum here is what? 2, 0, 3, 2, and 0. So we designed the second table. Design the second table where I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I have A, B, C, D, and dummy. So now we should move at a faster speed. Tumesema we are subtracting. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 minus 2, 4. 2 minus 2, 0. 5 minus 2, and 13 minus 2, 11. And how again is what was the back because we are subtracting 0. So 12, 8, 0, 14, and 15. Tuende kwa C. 6 minus 3 we get 3. 6 minus 3, 3. 3 minus 3, 10 minus 3, and 3 minus 3, 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. Sindio? Haya, tukuja kwa D. 18 minus 2, 2 minus 2, 7 minus 2, 12 minus 2, 8 minus 2, 6. And the dummy zeros remain. And the dummy zeros remain. And the dummies zeros remain. Higher. After that, tukasema from the second table, you identify the minimums. The minimums. From the second table, you identify the minimums of the columns. So there's a 0. And unlike in transport, some of the notes that is different that I'm talking about. Unlike in transport, where we never recognize dummies, in assignment we recognize. So when I say the minimum here, this 0 now will be included. This 0 will be included. So 0, 0, 0, 0. Unlike in transport, in assignment, dummies are included. So let's now design that table. Let's design that table. That table. So that table tumesema what you do, you subtract these minimums from their origins. You subtract the minimums from the others. So, and because they are zeros, zote zitabaki hapa niseme 2, 12, 3, 16, 0. Nikienda kwa 2, this will be 4, 8, 3, 0, 0. Nikienda kwa 3, 0, 0, 0, 5, 0. When I go to 4, this is 3, 14, 7, 10, and 0. Huyu 11, 15, 0, 6, and 0. So table 3 ikija, that is when I say you draw the minimum number of lines. And that is done by identifying where you have the highest number of zeros. Where you have the highest number of zeros. So ukiangalia hiyo table 3, Where do we have the highest number of zeros? Dummy. Good. So unakimbia hapo kwa dummy. Unakimbia kwa dummy. Unachora line namna hiyo. Who else? Foros. Column 3. Iko na tatu Yeah, it has 3 of them. So unakimbia hapa. It has 3 of them. Who next? Row C and D. So tutengeneze hapa 1 na hapa tutengeneze hivi. We have managed to cross over all the zeros. Yeah, all the zeros are crossed over. All the zeros are crossed over. When you have crossed all the zeros, count how many lines those are. 4. Are we optimal? No. No. Good. Because they are not equal to either our rows or our columns. So if we are not optimal, it means we do the next table, which will be table 4. So we do the 4th table. Do the 4th table. So in the 4th table, I've told you there are 4 things that you need to do. 1, unarudi kwa hii. And you pick the smallest that is not crossed over. You pick the smallest that is not crossed over. So the smallest thing haijaguswa na hii line ni 2. The second thing is that smallest value, you subtract it from the values not crossed over. You subtract. So to answer A, 2 minus 2, that is what? 0. 4 minus 2, 2. 3 minus 2, 1. And 11 minus 2, we have 9. When we subtract, that is what we have in A. When we come to B, 12 minus 2, that is what? 10. 6 minus 2, that is, 8 minus 2 is 6. Then 14, we get what? 12. And this other one, we get what? 13. Hakuna ingine yenye haijaguswa. Then any value that is touched once, any value that is touched once, you retain it. You retain it. So let's start with the C. So C, I retain 3. I retain 3 here. Then look at, I retain 7. And I retain 0. I go to D, I will retain what? 16, then 0, then you look at I retain 10 and 6. I go to dummy, I retain 0, 0, then 0 and 0. Then I go to column 3. Column 3, I retain 0 here, and I retain 0 here. The fourth thing, I add that smallest to the value crossed over twice. So here I get what? 2. Here I get 7, and here I get what? 2. Na hiyo table imejaa. So ikiwa imejaa, let's identify where we have the highest number of zeros. Dame bado inaongoza with 4 zeros. Aha, imefuatwa kwa karibu na nani? Column 1, no. You see, huyu 0 ashakuwa closed, so you don't count.
Oh, there's column 3.
So column 3, iko na 2 of them, and row A, iko na 2, see there? So we can choose any of the 2. So if we go for A here, do we have anyone else who has 2? Is Asia, right? So zenye zimebaki ni moja moja, si ndio? So kama ni moja moja, I say you can either draw the row or the column, eh? Yeah, either. But for now, acha tuchore columns. Tuchora columns, huwa naishia hiko, huyu namna hii, na huyu namna hii. So how many lines are those? 5. Are we optimal? Yes. So if yes, we do the assignment. So the assignment inafanywa hivi. Nimesema you come to the rows and identify the row that has just 1 zero. Kwanza hapa. A, does it have 1? No. B? Yes. So unakimbia hapa. You assign that. Na nimesema when you assign, that 0 destroys any other 0 in that column or any other 0 in that row. And that is what we were calling implication. So after assigning to this one, it has destroyed this 0. And as a result, A now has 1 0. When we assign here, it destroys this 0. And as a result, A has 1 0. So unakimbia hapa. When you assign there, this 0 here destroys this one. When it destroys this one, dame is still not part of the ones because bado imebakisha huyu na huyu. So before we digress, because tumefika hapa, tutafuta 1 1. So tuendelee. C, does it have 1? Yes. So hiyo ukiweka hapo imeharibu this 0. So dame bado imebakisha B, this and this. So turudi hapa. D, does it have 1? Yes. This one. And as a result, imeharibu huyu. So dummy ameachiwa na moja, which is this one. So have we assigned to all? Yeah. So I said you go checking where we have 1. Una assign, na ukisha assign that 0 inaharibu hao wengine. So naenda namna hiyo. Then from there now you extract the summary. You extract the summary. So the summary, we have salesperson here. Salesperson. Then we have the districts. And we have the ratings. So salesperson A is going to be sent to district 1. B atakuja tumwambia aende number 3. C ataenda number 5. D inaenda number 2. Dummy inaenda number 4. And then the total. The practical meaning of the dummy is that area 4 hatutatuma mtu. Area 4 there will be no one that will be sent. That's the practical implication. Area 4 you will not have anyone. These things are applicable, as I told you, at your job places. If you work in audit firm, unarauka asubuhi wewe unaambiwa wewe utaenda kwa huyu client, huyu ataenda kwa huyu client. Other than the cost implications, there are other considerations that are done. Other considerations would include things such as your other qualifications. Sema wewe, your first qualification is medicine. Umefanya mambo na medical issues. Alafu utakuja kusoma accounting. So you are qualified auditor. And one of our clients as an audit company is a hospital. So most likely wewe utatumwa. Because other than understanding the audit language, you also understand the medical language. Auditor mwingine alikuwa amesomea engineering na kufanya accounting. So if one of our clients is an engineer, tunamtuma huko. Other issues would include, like maybe unataka kutumana Mombasa. There's an assignment to be done in Mombasa. Some guys, they like swimming so much. Unamtuma Mombasa, badala ya kuenda kazi anashinda kwa beach swim. Jioni ndio anacook figures anakutumia equation figures. Some other person unajua hawezi ingia kwa maji mingi. We have water fogging. So such guys ndio unatuma Mombasa. Huyo unajua hata jua ikuwe na mbarani, they cannot go anywhere near the ocean. So many considerations that are done. Just like even in a school like this one, I can also teach MIS. And also teach audit. That's all. Nilisoma na nikapita. Si hata wewe unasoma zote tatu nikapita. But on the assignment tunaangalia ni kweli ulipita MIS na ulipita audit na QA, but which is your strongest area? QA pia huko. Nyamacha yako ni gani? MIS pia hapo. Ochieng audit, yes. So that we have the best in each area. Haya. Unlike in the other table, ile ya kwanza tulifanya, when we came to fill here, tulikimbia kwa the first table. But here maximization, you go to the table ya original question. You go to the table in the original question, not the first table. So in the original question, A going to 1 is 92. B going to 3 is 96. C going to 5 is 93. And D going to 2 is 94. And obviously this one is C. So, any question? Let me see your passports. So on top of question number 8 that I told you earlier on you shall do, I would like you to attempt December 2012, question 3. December 2012, question 3. December 2012, question number 3. So we are through with that area of assignment and also linear programming. So when we meet next, God willing, it's a new area. Thank you.